So let's talk about Oscar Wilde's The Importance of Being Earnest. We all know it's hilarious, right? Full of witty one-liners and, well, cucumber sandwiches. But what if I told you it's also one of the most brilliant acts of social rebellion ever disguised as a comedy? And that raises a really fascinating question.
Is it possible that the funniest play in the English language is also the most subversive? That's the big question we're tackling today. We're going to dig in and see how Wilde's masterpiece is so much more than just a laughing matter. And our investigation starts with a tiny, almost hidden clue that basically gives the whole game away, the play's subtitle. It seems like such a small thing, but trust me, this is where Wilde shows his hand right from the get-go.
Okay, so look at this. Wilde's first idea was a serious comedy for trivial people. That kind of sounds like he's looking down his nose at a shallow audience, right? But then he makes this genius flip to a trivial comedy for serious people. It's a total reversal. He's now inviting the most stuffy, serious people in Victorian London to a deliberately silly play, and the joke is on them.
So this isn't just playing with words. This was Wilde throwing down the gauntlet. He's holding up a mirror and basically saying, you see this ridiculous, trivial little story? Yeah, that's you. It's time to laugh at just how seriously you all take yourselves. It just perfectly sets the stage for everything that's about to come.
So how does he actually pull this off? Well, a huge part of the answer lies with his incredible characters, especially the women. Because they aren't just there for a romantic plot, oh no. They are the absolute engines of his rebellion.
First, you've got the terrifying Lady Bracknell, who is basically the voice of society's harshest judgments. Then there's the very proper, very sophisticated Gwendolen. And out in the country, you've got the incredibly imaginative Cecily. And of course, the seemingly prim and proper Miss Prism, who has a few secrets of her own. Each one gives us a different look at Victorian life and, more importantly, a different angle for Wilde's critique.
But here's the thing you have to understand about Wilde's world. Being attractive has nothing to do with conventional beauty. Nope, it's all about your rebellious spirit. The character who's the most compelling, the most magnetic, is the one who breaks society's ridiculous rules with the most style and wit. And who fits that description perfectly? Cecily Cardew. I mean, this quote just nails it. On the surface, she's this sweet, innocent girl living a sheltered life in the country. But underneath all that, she has a will of steel and an imagination so powerful it can literally bend reality.
Just think about this for a second. She doesn't just sit around waiting for romance to find her. She invents an entire, detailed relationship in her diary before she even meets the guy. In a world with such rigid rules about how you're supposed to live and love, Cecily's decision to just write her own story makes her the ultimate Wildean heroine. It's an amazing act of creative defiance.
And this idea of rebellion just gets bigger and bigger. It expands from Cecily's personal diary into a full-blown attack on the very foundations of Victorian society. Wilde takes their most sacred institutions, marriage, class, morality, and just turns them all into one big punchline.
And he does it with almost surgical precision. Step 1, show marriage as a business deal, not a love match. Step 2, have Lady Bracknell literally interview a potential husband like he's applying for a job. And for the final, most absurd step, make the entire concept of love depend on something as silly as a name. I mean, this line is just pure satirical gold. Lady Bracknell isn't horrified by Jack's tragic past as an orphan. Now, she's annoyed by how it might look, how it reflects on his social resume. It's such a hilarious and absolutely brutal takedown of a mindset where appearances mean everything, and actual human feeling, well, that's just careless. And right from the very first act, Algernon hits us with this gem. He takes that classic saying, marriages are made in heaven, and just flips it on its head. With one cheeky line, Wilde is signaling to us that nothing is off limits. Every single sacred cow is about to be tipped over. But hold on, because there's one more layer to this whole thing. It's the deepest, and maybe the most personal layer of all, because under all that social satire, a lot of scholars believe Wilde tucked away a quiet but powerful story about queer identity and what it took to survive in a very hostile world. So the key to unlocking this final layer is this made-up word bunburying. Now, on the surface, it's just Algernon's hilarious excuse for skipping dinner with his aunt. But really think about what it means. You invent a fake identity so you can escape your duties and live a secret, truer life. And this is the heart of it. You have Jack, this respectable guy in the country, and then you have Ernest, his secret, wilder self in the city.
For a closeted gay man like Oscar Wilde living in Victorian England, this wasn't just some clever plot device. This was a metaphor for his actual life. The constant performance you had to put on to navigate a society that had criminalized who you were.
Now, this queer subtext isn't something that's spelled out. It's what scholars call a flickering presence absence. You can't always see it directly, but you can feel it in the coded language, the intense friendship between Jack and Algernon, and this constant obsession with secrets and hidden identities. It's always there, shimmering just beneath the surface.
And this famous line from Algernon suddenly feels like so much more than a witty comment, doesn't it? It feels like the play's secret thesis statement. It's a profound observation about the complicated nature of who we are, especially for people who are forced to hide parts of themselves. Wilde is telling us that sometimes the masks we wear are part of our truth, too.
So in the end, the whole play, with all of its fibbing and its double lives, becomes a kind of celebration of that performance. For Wilde and so many others, pretending to be someone else wasn't just about lying. It was a creative act of survival, and in its own way, a quiet, brilliant form of defiance.
So let's just quickly recap our journey here. We started with what looked like a trivial play and found its incredibly serious purpose. We met characters who fight back not with weapons but with their imaginations. We saw how Wilde turned a world of rigid social rules into a total joke. And at the very core, we uncovered this hidden, powerful story of queer defiance. Which really leaves us with one final thought. The entire play is a masterpiece about performance and the search for who we really are. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? All these years later, in our own lives, what roles are we still performing every single day? Thanks for joining me.